Jai Hind everyone, my name is Ankita Rani. I am working as an assistant professor in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering at Ajay Kumar Garg Engineering College, Ghaziabad. Today we discuss about the topic memory allocation in operating system. How we allocate the memory in the operating system. So basically, in the previous lecture, we already study about the memory. Memory is a huge collection of bytes, and memory allocation refers to allocating space to computer application. So basically, there are the two types of memory allocation: contiguous memory allocation and non-contiguous memory allocation. Non-contiguous memory allocation means it is in continue manner, and non-contiguous memory allocation means it is non-contiguous in a manner. So first we discuss about the contiguous memory allocation. Contiguous memory allocation is a memory management technique whenever there is a request by the user process for the memory, then a single section of contiguous memory block is given to that process according to its requirement. For example, if the user wants to the section of the memory, then the contiguous memory block given to the process according to the requirement. So, and it is achieved by dividing the memory into the fixed size partition. So basically, in contiguous memory allocation, our memory is in fixed size partitioning. Fixed size partitioning means all blocks in the memory are of the same size. So memory can be divided either in the fixed size partitioning or in the variable size partitioning in order to allocate the contiguous space. For example, we have a contiguous memory management technique, and this is divided into two types. First is the fixed size partition scheme, and second one is the variable size partition scheme. So, in fixed size partition scheme means we have a fixed size partitions. The system has fixed size. The system is into the fixed size partition. The partition may or may not be the same size. For example, in this diagram, you can check the partition. The first partition is of 5 KB, second partition is of 2 KB, third is of 3 KB, and fourth is also of 3 KB, and second is also of the 2 KB. So basically, we have a total memory of size 15 KB, and of overall of 15 KB, we have a 5 partitions, and these all are fixed. It means, for example, we have a size for example, we have a first process P1, which is of size 3 KB. So if we allocate this memory section to process P1, it means we have a memory size of 2 KB, which is wasted because 5 minus 3 is equal to 2. So 2 KB memory is wastage from the very first block because this memory block is allocated to the process P1. So the size of each partition is fixed as indicated by the name of the technique, because we does not change the size of the partition because it is a fixed size partition scheme. It is fixed by the system. So the user cannot change, or the CPU cannot change the partition. So in this partition scheme, each partition may contain exactly only one process. For example, P1 is allocated to that memory, and after that we have a process P2, we have a process P3, we have a process P4, and we have a process P5. So there is a problem that this technique will limit the degree of the multi-programming. How they limit the degree of multi-programming? Because if we have the process size is smaller than the memory size, then it must that the size of the partition is wastage. So because the number of partition will basically decide the number of the processes. So for example, if we are talking about that diagram, they have only 5 sizes of the memory. So we have only put the 5 process in that memory. So whenever any process terminate, then the partition become available for another process. So this is the example you can show of the fixed size partition scheme. So if there is some wastage, so in the previous diagram I discussed that 2 kb wastage. So 2 kb wastage, the wastage is known as the internal fragmentation. If there is some wastage in the partition is termed as the internal fragmentation. You can see in that diagram, basically the first block is of the 70 kb, and after that we have a block of 20 we have a block of 120 kb. First is 70 kb, next block we have 120 kb, next block we have third kb, and next block we have 20 kb. So size of the process is lesser than the size of the partition. In that case, some size of the partition get waste and remain unused. This wastage inside the memory is generally termed as internal fragmentation. So for example, as we shown have in the above diagram, we have a partition of 70 kb, but we have to load a process of 50 kb. We have a process size is of the 50 kb, and we have a partition size is of 70 kb. So we put that partition size into the block 1, this block. So we have a process size of only 50 kb. So 50 kb comes under that process, and this 20 kb is wastage. So this is called as a internal fragmentation. This area is called as a internal fragmentation because the memory is wastage. In that case, process size is smaller, is lesser than the partition size. So in case the memory is wastage is termed as the internal fragmentation. So advantage of fixed size partition is it is simple and easy to implement, and it's also support a multi-programming, and it is easy for manage. Next is disadvantage. Disadvantage of fixed size partitioning scheme is that internal fragmentation and limitation on the size of the process, and external fragmentation and degree of multi-programming is less. So we have a internal fragmentation, or we have a external fragmentation in the fixed size partition scheme because the size of the block is fixed, and we have to allocate the process to the memory. So because of this, because of that wastage, degree of multi-programming is less. So next is the variable size partitioning. Variable size partitioning is also called as dynamic partitioning, and previously fixed size partitioning is also known as the static partitioning. So it is came into existence to overcome the drawback of the static partitioning, means overcome the drawback of internal fragmentation. So in this, scheme allocation is done dynamically. So the size of the partition is not declared initially, but in the fixed size partition scheme, size of the partition is declared initially and the starting. So whenever any process arrive, partition of size equal to the size of the process is created. For example, we have a process size. For example, we have a process size of 10 kb. So we allocate the size, block size also 10 kb. We create at that time. So when the process arrive of 10 kb, so at that time we allocate the block size of also 10 kb because it is a dynamic partitioning scheme, nothing is fixed in that. So the size of each partition is equal to the size of the process. So as partition size varies according to the need of the process, So in this case, there is no internal fragmentation. So this is the example. So in a variable size partitioning scheme, the size of the partition is equal to the size of the process. As we see in that, the process size and the partition size is of the equal. So the size of the partition and size of the process is equal in the dynamic partitioning or in the variable size partitioning. For example, in operating system, we have a process P1 of 3 MB and we have a process P2 of 5 MB, we have a process P3 of 8 MB. So process P1, the size has 3 MB and the block size is also 3 MB. Similarly in that case, So this is called variable size partitioning. So there is a concept of holes. So when a program completed execution and terminate, it allocate memory area. Its allocated memory area is free. The available memory area are called as holes. For example, in that case, these are the processes P1, P2, P3, P4 and P5, and last, this is the empty space which is called as holes. So in second case, P3 complete, so its allocated memory area is free. P3 completed task, P3 completes its execution, so the memory area is free. So P1 is away running, P2 is also running, P4 is also running and P5 is also running, but P3 is completed its task, its execution. So the blank space, blank area is known as a hole. So after that, in that case, P1 completes, so its allocated memory area is also free. So the blank space, the blank area is also called as a hole. So holes in variable partitioning represent the blank space. Next, the concept is coalescing. What is coalescing? So in this case, we have a process P1, we have a process P3, P4 and P5, and process P2 is free. So P3 complete, so its allocated memory area is free. So in that case, P3 is completed, so its allocated area is free. So in that case, these memory area which is of 2 MB and 4 MB are free, are available for any process. So we can merge. We merge both the blocks, and 4 plus 2 is equal to 6 MB. Total memory is of 6 MB because we merge that blocks. So the merging together available adjacent free holes to form a big hole is known as the coalescing. So the process of merging adjacent free holes, these are the adjacent free holes, and we merge that process, we merge that partition into to form a big hole. Then this process is known as a coalescing. So the merging of the partition freely available adjacent partition area is known as the coalescing. Next is the compaction. Compaction is a method to overcome the external fragmentation problem, and in this all the free blocks are brought together and as one large block of free space. For example, we have a process P1, we have a process P2, we have a process P3. So in process P1, we have a free space area of 20 KB, and process P2, we have a free area space of 7 KB, and process P3, we have a free space area of 100 KB. So we combine all the three areas, all the three memories into one big. So 20 plus 7 plus 10. So we have a total 37 KB space, which is this space. So this process is called as the compaction. In compaction, we combine the freely available space from all the process into the big one, like P1, P2, P3. These all are running, and this is the free space. So this process is called as a compaction. So there are the different type of memory allocations in OS: first fit, best fit, worst fit, and next fit. These are the four techniques. So in first fit, what comes first, we allocate that. So whenever a process P1 comes with the memory allocation, OS, so in this operating system sequentially search available memory block from the first index and assign the first memory block large enough to accommodate the process. Whenever a new process P2 comes, it does the same thing, search from the first index again. So as its name suggests, in this diagram, we have a memory first fit allocation in OS. We have a memory, we have a process 90, 50, 30, 40. These are the process, and this is our memory area blocks which is available. So this is our memory area, this is our blocks. So first process 90 arrive. So we check first, we check one by one. Firstly, so in 20, 90 is not allowed, but so in block, first block is 20k, 90 occupy, now 20 is available, but 90 is not accommodate in that. After that, second block is 100k, it is available, and also the process size 90 kb is accommodate into that block. So block 2 is the first to fit P1, and after that P1 goes to block P2. Similarly, the process 50 arrive. So 20 is available, but it is not accommodate. 100 is already not available. After that 40 is available, but process 50 is not accommodate because the block size is less than the process size. After that 200, so yes, it is available and we can also accommodate that process. So 200. So the memory process, memory wastage is 150, and in that case the memory wastage is 10. After that we have a process arrive 30. These are available, but it is not accommodate, not available. It is available, so this process is accommodate to process 40, and the memory wastage is of 10. And so after that we have a process 40 arrive. So in process 40, 20 is available, but it is not accommodate into that block. 100 is not available, 40 is not available, and 200 is not available. 40 is available, but it is not accommodate because the block size is less than the process size. So the none of the available block can accommodate P4 and it remains unallocated. So in that case the process 4 of 40 size remains unallocated. So this is the first fit algorithm. Advantage: it is easy to implement. OS can allocate process quickly. Disadvantage: cause huge internal fragmentation because more memory is wastage because it is check only the first fit in the first index manner. So next is the best fit. How the best fit works? It accommodates the process, also leave the minimum memory wastage. So in best fit memory allocation, we check the best location. We check for the best location or best index. So this is our processes and this is the memory block. So first process is of 40. So which is in best fit block? 100 is available and it is also accommodate, but the memory wastage is of 60, huge wastage. Next is the 50, block 2 is 50 available, yes, and it also accommodate, huge wastage is 10. So after that 120. In this case, huge wastage, which is of 80, so it is also not accommodate, and block, it is not accommodate. So the best process, the best block for that process is the block 2, 50. After that, next process come, which is 10. So first memory block is of 100 size, memory wastage is 90, which is not best fit. 50 is not available. 30, in 30 we can check 20 is wastage, 20 kb. In 120, huge wastage is 110 memory is wastage, which is not best fit. In block 35, in block 5, 35, 25 memory is wastage. So which is the minimum in that? Block 3. Block 3. So we can accommodate that process to block 3, 30. After that, the next process is 30. In 100, we can check 70 memory wastage. 50 is not available. 30 is not 30. We can check for 30, but 30 is not available. After that, 120. In 120, we can check 90 memory wastage, and at 35, 5 memory wastage. So out of these, we can check the minimum memory wastage. So we can go for the block 5, which is best fit. After that, next process 60, block 100 is available. In that case, we can check 40 memory is wastage, 50 is not available, 30 is not available. For 120, we can check 60 kb memory is wastage, and 35 is not available. So in that case, which is the minimum? Block 1 is the minimum. So we can go for the block 1, 100 kb. So this is the best fit. Advantage is it is allocated to the process, and this scheme is considered the best approach, and it also reduces the internal fragmentation. Disadvantage is that it is a very time consuming. Next is the worst fit. The worst fit can accommodate the process size, and it leaves the largest wasted space. In that case, we can check the largest wasted space. We can check for large wasted space. So we have a block size, we have a processes, we have a memory blocks. So first we have a process 40. So we check for the first, in that case 100, the memory wastage is 60. For 50, the memory wastage is 10, and for 30, not accommodate, not occupy. For 120, we can check the memory wastage is 80. For 35, not occupied, not accommodate. So we check which is the maximum value. Maximum value, huge wastage, large wastage, is for the block 4. So we can go with the block 4. It is the worst fit. Worst fit. So next process, we have a process 10. So we can check for 100, 90 wastage. For 50, 40 wastage. For 30, 20 wastage. Block 120 is not available, unavailable, and block 5, 25 wastage. So out of this, we can check which is the maximum. Block 1 is the maximum wastage, total 90 wastage. So we can go for the block 1. So 10 worst fit in the 100. After that, we have a process of 30 kb. In 30, block 100 is not available. In 50, we have a wastage of 20 kb. In 30, we have a wastage of 0 kb. 120 is unavailable, and block 5, we have a wastage of 5 kb. So which is the maximum out of these? Block 1, block 2, 20. So we can go for the block 2 because the maximum wastage at here block 2. After that, the next process is of size 60 kb. In 60, process block 1 is unavailable, block 2 is unavailable, block 3 cannot occupy because the process size is greater than the block size, and block 4 is unavailable, and block 5 of size 35 is available, but it is not occupied because our process size is greater than the block size. So the process 360 remains unallocated and cannot fit to any of the blocks.